smoked. High and deep to left field, and that ball is long gone. What a way to start things off for Loper Fido and the Duke Blue Devils.
My, how you start off a game for the Duke.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Uski and Herbie for May 29th, 2021. We're here on a Saturday night. I'm Chris Idell, doing the like always during the show here, sporting my new Florida State jersey. I got that today. We're going to preview all the lacrosse baseball stuff here tonight. Because we have some great people joining us. I think somebody just logged in right now. Let's put this on here. All right. We'll just get this stuff rolling here. Okay. We have our good friend, she's a brand new person to the show. Sheann Stanwyck Birchfield joining us, and she is just right now on the call. Hi, Sheann. How you doing? Doing great. Thank you for coming on. And you probably talked to my my girlfriend earlier.
I mean, doesn't it show you what a small world this is? It's amazing. I love her.
I feel like I live in Cheers because everybody knows somebody. Like there's somebody who's related to somebody who knows somebody. It's like I'm like, okay, like good stuff.
When I was like, Miss Nicole says hi, everybody, and they were like, oh my gosh, we know Miss Nicole from the gym. So
yeah, I told her to, an hour ago, I'm like, what's her name's coming? Can you help me? Because I have a hard time with names. And she's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, what do you mean kidding me? She's like, is she coming on? She's a very great lady. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, I just asked the ESPN lady, It's like, okay. Yeah, so it's a privilege for you to join me tonight. And, I know yesterday was a great 2 lacrosse games yesterday down there at house. And first one was Syracuse. No, the second one was Syracuse and Northwestern, but the first one was North Carolina and
Boston College. Yeah,
Boston College. They're all the same, in the ACC. They all run. Yeah. What is your take on those 2 games yesterday? They were very competitive games. And what did you think about the turnout down in Towson? I know with all the COVID stuff, it looked kind of like it was a Friday afternoon. Hopefully there's more people Saturday, but with this weather we have today, it's like 55 degrees.
Well, I mean, it was a sold-out crowd. So with COVID restrictions, they had to limit the seats. But I can tell you, just from being from Baltimore, there were fans that were dying to get in. And just with the protocols in place, they had about over 5,000 fans there, which is awesome. But I think we could have packed it in a normal year. But these players have been playing so many different venues, some without fans at all. And it was an amazing atmosphere. So the weather didn't cooperate the entire time, but we didn't have any weather delays. And I thought the first matchup of UNC and BC was absolutely amazing. The final score being 11-10 in Boston College favor, but Boston College was the clear underdog. North Carolina was undefeated all season long, and it didn't really feel like North Carolina ever got into a rhythm. The goalkeeper for Boston College, Rachel Hall, stood on her head. She told us that her coach told her, if you can have between 10 and 12 saves this game, we will win it. And she had 11 saves, and they won the game, and she just stood on her head, and it was a complete team effort. It was really exciting to watch. I think, North Carolina had almost a perfect season, and they played great, but it just was one of those games where their offense didn't seem to get things all on the same page. It wasn't what the UNC team that we'd seen all season long, but a credit to a great effort by Boston College.
I think it's also difficult for a team to go undefeated no matter what. Because if you're in a regular season, you go 14-0, you have a bullseye right on you saying, come get me,
Totally. And they knew that. And they had been saying, their players been quoted saying, we know that everyone wants to take us down and beat us, but they had been challenged. The last couple of games for them had come down the wire. Stony Brook played them extremely tight in the quarterfinal round of the NCAAs. If they hadn't had that tough road to the tournament, I would have said they just hadn't been challenged. They had kind of blown everybody out in the water, but they were battle tested. So I don't think they overlooked anyone. I think everyone, just with this COVID year and understanding that people may not be available for games, who knows if the next day is guaranteed, no one was really overlooking. So I really just think it was BC showed up that day and they believed and they played a better game and they ended up winning. But it was as all these games I think are going to be, it's a matter of just tiny moments and putting together things. So the team that gets that extra ground ball, that extra save, that can shoot a little bit better on the day is going to be the one that comes out with the victory.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Boston College. They had a young lady from Towson who literally just, she just scored a lot of goals. And I talked to the coach yesterday after the press conference, and I asked her about the girls from Maryland, because it seems like if you look on every roster for every women's and men, there's more kids, young men from Maryland that's dominating the entire roster. And to me, I'm thinking that's fairly cool for the state sport, but it's great for college. But why is it not working for the pros? That's like, come on.
I mean, the talent has been amazing. Maryland has been a hotbed, and a lot of these rosters have really talented kids coming from Maryland. But I think it's been crazy just some of the great players that have come from different states. I mean, on that Boston College team, yes, they had some local kids on the team, which was so fun to get the fans and the family feel in the stands. But their best player, Charlotte North, is from Dallas, Texas, and is one of the Tewaaraton finalists, and that is really not a hotbed. In the other game, the second game, Northwestern, Izzy Skane, another one of the 5 Tewaaraton finalists, is from Michigan. So it's crazy how the game has spread across the nation, and that's been awesome for the fan bases just to be able to see. And there's been a lot more games on television, on the web, just different streaming apps that you can get to, the game can spread and people can learn.
I was talking to one of the local reporters on Wednesday morning. We do a show Wednesday morning here. And I said to him, what about they move the Final Four out west? Because it seems like Utah and, Southern Cal and everybody's putting women's lacrosse out there, and just move it out there and see if there's anybody wants to go there. And he goes, well, if it goes to San Diego, that'd be cool. I'll go to San Diego for a weekend. But, for us here on the East Coast, why you want to take an East Coast game and move it out west? But it's slowly moving out west.
It is slowly, and I know they want to grow the game, so they do try to rotate the locations, trying to grow this fan base and get people there. So, I mean, right now, I would love to go out to San Diego too, or go wherever the game travels. But it is nice being from Baltimore, just having the game in our backyard for the last couple of years. But it will be nice just to bring it to other different areas. Although I've gotten messages from people that are flying in from Utah, a lot of the Boston and Syracuse fans down, obviously, and people they've made it's fun for them also to come in and kind of experience the whole culture. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the second game. Syracuse, I thought they were using the Dino Babers fun and gun, because they just went out and scored. I know Dio Babers is a great coach at Syracuse for football. I think he needs to learn to get some offense watching women's lacrosse, because he might get more, out of his players. But jumping out to almost like a 10-goal lead and then literally hanging on, that was a great way of saying to Northwestern, see you later.
It was awesome. I mean, the second game, North Carolina, the first game was undefeated. They go down. Second game, everyone thought Northwestern, they'd only played a Big Ten conference schedule. They were undefeated, and Syracuse comes in and really dominated. I mean, the game never felt really in jeopardy for them. And it came down. I think Northwestern came out. They were very aggressive. And the refs called a tight game, and I think they called it a good game. They had 7 yellow cards, which you have to play a player down if you're awarded a yellow card for 2 minutes, and for up to 2 minutes. And it really hurt Northwestern, and they weren't able to get into a flow, and things just didn't go their way. And Syracuse seemed to thrive in that atmosphere. They gelled. I mean, they are, if you're familiar with the team, which we've said a million times this season, but it's worth repeating because it's amazing what Gary Gate, the head coach of Syracuse, has done. They've had 4 players lost to ACL injuries that were going to be starters on this team, and 2 of them, some of the best players in the nation. Emily Harris-Chuck went down after the first game, and people thought their season was going to be over, and then they kind of refigure the offense, get different people in, and then Megan Carney goes down midway in the season. And again, people thought, well, they made a good run, but they're not going to be able to adjust. And they've had freshmen like Emma Ward step up. Megan Tyrell has actually been phenomenal. She's a junior. Her sister, Emma Tyrell. They have just plugged in different people in. And you go to Syracuse, you want to win a national championship. They're extremely talented. So they've got a bench full of great depth, but that depth has come in, and it just hasn't been any moment where you've doubted them. I mean, they've learned along the way. And what I love about this Final Four weekend and the 2 teams left standing is that these teams, They had doubters, but these teams never doubted themselves, and they've gotten better each game, and they believed. And we're going to have a new champion. Boston College and Syracuse have never won a women's lacrosse championship, which is also great for the game. Just a few schools have won national championships, so it's awesome for the sport. But these two teams have so much to be proud of, and I also think it's kind of cool. They both were the underdogs. They both upset the number 1 and 2 seeds, but they're not going to overlook each other. This will be the 4th time that Syracuse and Boston College meet this season, which my goal is after this interview to research. I don't think that there's ever been a time in women's lacrosse where a team has met 4 times throughout a season. And that was due to COVID. The ACC made you play. Some teams play twice per year. They happen to meet in the ACC tournament and they meet again. So it's wild.
Yeah, I think it's really hard because if you only play them twice, you have one at home, one on the road. But with COVID this year, everybody decided to stay in one area. And you had like some teams played 3. Like I said, this is the 4th time for Boston College and Syracuse. And you're like, you don't play each other 4 times. It's like, maybe in the NCAA tournament you play them with 3. Like let's say Maryland basketball, they play, Illinois in the NCAA tournament after they just played them in the Big Ten title. It's like, okay, we know each other, but playing them 4 times, what do you see? What do you see that you didn't see the first 3 times? It's like, okay, we know they have a good offense. I know they have good goalies. What else? I know the coach has a great uniform, his jacket, and that looked so fantastic yesterday. I asked him yesterday on the press conference. I'm like, "Are you going to wear that on Sunday?" Because I think of superstitions.
Is he going to wear it again? He always looks.
No, he said he has another one. I was like, "Wear the same one." I was like, it might bring you good luck, man. And he goes, "Well, I never wear a suit a second time, but you never know." Yeah. I got to tune in tomorrow at noon and see if I actually convinced the guy. But he's a legend in Syracuse on the men's side. And he got hired to help with the women's lacrosse. And he's trying to keep his legacy alive because he was doing well on the men's side.
Yeah, he was an amazing player. I mean, I grew up watching him and just in all of he and his brothers play and their time at Syracuse. And then when I was a player, he was an assistant coach at Maryland women's lacrosse team and did a phenomenal job through their championship run. And he's taken over Syracuse. And he's told us that ever since he's been there, his goal is to win a national championship. They've been there before. They've not been able to come away with the final trophy, but he was able to coach his daughter at her time at Syracuse. And this year is special, but he is a great coach, but what he's done this year with the injuries they've had and all the coaches, I mean, it's been a tough year for the players, just the requirements that they've had to do and the restrictions and the coaches themselves. It's been hard on everyone. So it's really been cool to be on site of these games, to be at the practices. We haven't been able to do that all year and just to see the smiles because it's finally like they can enjoy the process. And it is so hard to get to this weekend.
Let's bring in the lady from Inside Lacrosse because she's sitting us waiting patiently. Hi, Beth Mayers. This is a little roundtable real quick about women's lacrosse. It works a little bit when we do other sports here on the program. But Beth, talk about what you take yesterday with the 2 games there at Towson. It looked like the ACC kind of dominated both their own foe in North Carolina and in Northwestern.
Yeah, well, if you had told me, North Carolina was going to lose and Boston College was going to win with Charlotte North not getting a single draw control and have it be a defensive battle, I would have tried to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. But Acacia Walker-Weinstein just put together such a great game plan. They took it to North Carolina early. They played physical, and they came away with that win. They were able to hold on late, unlike Stony Brook a week before. And over on the Syracuse Northwestern side, that's usually a great rivalry, a great game in the regular season, and sometimes even in May. And I think as Sheehan was saying earlier in the show, what a job Gary Gate has done with that offense, losing 2 players during the season and then just plugging other players in, Emma Tyrell going from the midfield to the attack and joining her sister, Emma Ward, a freshman who's playing like an upperclassman. And that defense has really been locked down for them over the last couple of years since he brought Caitlin DeFelice over from Stony Brook. She's just really made a difference on the defense for Syracuse. They play with really great lacrosse IQ, and they really shut down a Northwestern offense that, nobody was able to stop all season.
What do you think about that, Sheen? What do you think?
Beth Ann's right on board. I mean, it was amazing. I totally agree. Charlotte North didn't have a draw control. 7 draw controls for BC. It was the lowest they've had all season long. So it was and we've had these teams all season long, and you kind of thought going in the games, BC's got the edge in the draw controls, but Charlotte North's going to have like a Charlotte North 8-goal game day, and they were able to win different ways. Jem Medjid played awesome, and then they were able to come up with possessions, which is the key. If you're not going to win the draw, you got to figure out other ways to get possession. And UNC struggled shooting, and that's a credit to the defense of Boston College and then to Rachel Hall and Cage. But the Northwestern Syracuse game, kind of same thing. I'd only seen Northwestern play. They didn't have many common opponents except for they both played Duke. And I thought Northwestern's draw team had looked so strong all season long, and they struggled on the draw control. So it just kind of depends on the day. And it's amazing just the scouting that these staffs do. I mean, they're looking at every single tendency and trying to come up with ways to counter. And I really just thought that Syracuse did a great job. But they had, I think, 3 open net goals. One was late in the game when, Northwestern was trying to get the ball back. But 2 right when the game was really on the line. And it was wild. And I think that's that they looked into in terms of the way that Northwestern tried to defend the clear. And they did a great job. But I was surprised. And I love an underdog story. So I love that we get the 3 and the 4 seed to win. But it was, I know I can feel the pain of Northwestern North Carolina because they weren't playing their game on Friday, and BC and Syracuse happened to show up.
Ladies, do you think the weather's going to be a factor? Because today I feel like I'm in Minnesota outside. I went outside to get something. I was like, okay, what happened here? Yesterday was 76 degrees, and today it's like in the 40s. My parents are down in Florida. It's 87 degrees, and they're like, you're cold today. I'm like, yes, it is. It's cold out.
I went
Is that a factor tomorrow?
I went to Syracuse for 4 years. I got to tell you, they're used to a lot worse, especially playing in February. I think once you get to this time of year, you have teams that can really get through anything. I think I'm not really sure that it's going to be a factor.
Yeah, I mean, the stands are sold out again for Sunday. I missed the boat. I didn't buy tickets for my family soon enough. Luckily, Towson released some extra tickets this morning, so I hopped on that. And I know just for like my little clan, they are going rain or shine. So they're going to have a full house there of fans, which is just awesome to play in because, as I mentioned before, like a lot of these campuses weren't allowing a lot of fans, or it just was or limited numbers. So no matter what the weather is, the good news is Towson Stadium is turf. So I didn't see a ton of slippage. We didn't have the crazy rain and thunder that we thought we were going to have on Friday night. But it seemed like the conditions were okay. It definitely was cold, but I was at practice earlier today, and I don't know how many bags these players packed, but they all had their rain gear on, their sweatshirts and sweatpants. They all seem to have all the stuff. Yeah.
Hey, and it's going to spotlight Towson and how the state of Maryland looks in downtown Towson because, ESPN will, because you're with the broadcast, they will show some stuff around the campus to help maybe bring new recruits that come to Towson.
Yeah, I mean, it's just great. I mean, you have all these cars coming into the campus, see how great it is. You can explore. I know that, people get there early. I don't think you can do much tailgating there with COVID now, but walking around is such a great hosting site. So I'm really excited for the players. It's been such a long season. I never really knew if we were going to get to this point, to be quite honest, or, how look. I've been broadcasting from where you see me now for the entire season. So it's been awesome to really be on site and call the game from the field and not my TV.
Hey.
Yeah, and it's such a credit to these student athletes, these 18 to 23-year-old women. You heard Gate and Kelly Monte-Hiller say yesterday that they had no COVID cases on their entire team. The entire season, lacrosse, as you know, those teams are big, and so for them to really buckle down and show that kind of discipline, and that kind of maturity under these unprecedented circumstances, I really think is a testament to these young women and how much they care about this game, because there was a lot of talk. Maybe this shouldn't happen. Maybe this isn't the right time. And I think that they really proved that it could happen. And again, that's a testament to them.
I heard NCAA staff today, and they were saying that there was not one positive case in the women's NCAA tournament. So they've been testing, about this, which I was pretty amazed about.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow. That's fantastic because, you hear different leagues like the Colonial Athletic Conference. They try to do a spring football schedule, and everybody backed out because they kept getting a positive test, and I'm like, how about we just next time just wait till the fall?
Yeah, I think that was.
You're trying something that's never been done before, and I feel like that those kids, who did it football. I know football's different than lacrosse, but it's like, why didn't you ruin a season for them?
Yeah, it's tough. In hindsight's always 2020,
Right.
And these are just really unprecedented time. But again, for 18 to 23-year-old young women to just have that wherewithal to just buckle down and take the precautions, and not to get political, but when so many people around the country were having trouble with that, again, I think it just says a lot about the sport and the student athletes that play it.
Exactly. Well, ladies, thank you so much for coming on this evening. Tomorrow at 12 noon, you can watch Sheehan and the rest of the gangs at ESPN doing the game from Towson. Are you guys up on the upper deck, or are you in one of the rooms?
We are in the upper deck, so it's about 20 degrees cooler and very windy up there. But on site.
Yeah, I go there for football games, and I don't go up there in the media. I stay down in a nice, friendly confine in the control room. Because I know how the wind goes up there. But stay warm. Thank you so much for coming on, and hopefully we'll have a great Final Four tomorrow.
Yeah, we got a new champion, so thanks so much.
Yeah, it's exciting. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
That was a very great interview. We just did a little roundtable thing, folks. It's good to bring people in. Let's play the interviews I had yesterday. I did talk to the coach from Boston College, and I asked her about the ladies from Maryland.
Oh.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on making it to the final on Sunday. Talk about the girls from Maryland you have on your roster. What do you expect from them? They're basically on their home turf, and they love being at home.
Yeah, it's so special for them. I mean, playing in their backyard, and those girls had a good game, and there was a little extra, a little extra special for them. So it's been fun, and I'm glad that they can feel proud and that they have this win. But we've got one more to go.
And if I can follow up, playing against somebody between Northwestern and Syracuse, I know you played Syracuse this year because you're in the ACC. Are they going to be giving you some problems, or do you think Northwestern, if you had a chance to, if you play tomorrow?
I'm sorry. What's the question? I'm sorry.
Northwestern and Syracuse. You played Syracuse a lot, but Northwestern has been there so many years. What is the difference between both teams?
I mean, both of that, you can't underestimate either of them. I mean, Gary is definitely one of the greatest minds in the game, and so is Kelly. So, whoever you have to play, you're going to have to be your best, and we're going to have to figure out a way to win. But both of those guys, I mean, it's an incredible group of coaches that are here, and it'll be fun to see Gary face off against Kelly, see what they can do.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that's the head coach of Boston College. She, let me bring up her name because, I forgot to put her name on the list here. Boston College. Anyway, so that was Boston College's head coach. We'll bring in Gary. We talked to Syracuse head coach Gary Gates, who is a living legend up there in Syracuse. So I had a chance to talk to him about what does the women's lacrosse do with the ACC network? It's bringing out the best in the league, and is he going to wear the same suit? What we talked about earlier.
We'll go to Chris next.
Hey, Gary, congratulations on making it to the Final Four championship game on Sunday. You were talking about the ACC. Do you feel like the ACC is getting more notarized for lacrosse because of the ACC network? Because before that, people didn't realize that Louisville had a team and Boston College had a team. Do you feel like the ACC network is working its tail to get more exposure to women's lacrosse?
Yeah, I think so. And both on the men's and women's side of the game, the ACC dominated, we all work hard. But for the game of lacrosse, we as coaches, we go out there and we compete against each other and all these other conferences for the best kids. And I think we also have some of the best coaches in the country from team to team. So, the ACC is a great home and a great conference to be a part of. So we're happy about it.
I do want to ask you, are you wearing the same suit on Sunday? Are we going to drop it off at the cleaners? Are you going to get another one? Or what's the story?
I don't think I've ever worn the same outfit 2 times in a row, so I don't think that should change. So we'll come up with a new one.
All right. Congratulations on winning today.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Gary Gates is the living legend up there in Syracuse, New York, trying to bring a women's lacrosse title back to upstate New York. So that's tomorrow, May 30th, championship game. Number 4 seed, Boston College taking on number 3 seed at 12 noon. Let's get back to let's cover some baseball before our good friend Dave Ryan is joining us. Florida State last night beat Miami by a score of 5-2, and now they have to wait there to see if they're going to be selected in the NCAA tournament for baseball. So I had the privilege to talk to Gary Martin Jr. And I'm trying to find where it is. Right here. And I talked to him about how the win over Miami and also his first year, full season as a coach at Florida State.
Because you know how it is here in the next couple of weeks. There's always seems to be weather issues. So we're excited and proud of the guys. Chris.
Hey, Coach Martin, thanks for taking my question. Congratulations on the win over Miami. What does this mean for you guys moving on for the College World Series, getting a win? I know not going to the semifinals, that's the goal and win the championship, but what does this game mean for you guys for tonight?
Well, it's a game that.
Hey, Coach Martin, I have a question to ask you. This is your first full season. I know last year everybody was this time not doing anything. What did you learn in your first full season as coach of Florida State?
Well, this year, everybody was loaded with players with all the backlog, and I think that's the parity has never been anywhere remotely like it is right now. And how long that's going to take for things to clear out, nobody knows. But
all right, folks. Sorry about the editing. Cut the question out about beating Miami and all that stuff. But Florida State 30-22 on the season, so they'll be waiting for that. Today in the semifinals, Duke beat Virginia in the semifinals to go to their first ACC championship game since 1961. They're on Duke's on they're 31-10. They're carrying an 11-game winning streak into Sunday noon's title game versus NC State, who just beat Georgia Tech earlier this evening. So I had a chance to talk to Chris Pollard, the head coach at the baseball coach at Duke, about beating Virginia and having his pitching staff intact for tomorrow's title game. Hey, Coach, congratulations on winning today. What's it mean for your pitching staff having somebody going 7? Because you don't see that a lot in baseball these days. You get like the pitch count, everything is high, and then you have your bullpen, and now tomorrow you got a fresh bullpen, knowing that you got every on hands on deck.
Yeah, I think that's been the biggest difference for our team. Clearly, we've been really good offensively in May, but I mean, you could look back over the season. We've been pretty daggone good offensively all year. But one of the biggest differences in May has been the ability of our starting pitchers to work deeper into games. And you see it with Jack Carey. When Jack Carey moved to Friday night and started getting us, 6-7 innings, it seemed like every Friday night, it gave our bullpen a chance to kind of take a deep breath. We were putting so much pressure on our bullpen week in and week out, having to go to those guys so early. And now, you see it here in the tournament where we've had 2 really deep starts, and it sets us up pretty daggone well for tomorrow.
Yep, that's a good thing for him tomorrow. Because he has a full bullpen, and he basically the old saying, all hands on deck tomorrow. So see what else is going on. Yeah, speaking of Duke, they beat Duke. Yeah, 1 second. Yes, here it is. I was looking for it. We talked to some Duke players during the week of this tournament. We talked to Michael Rothberger, who hit a walk-off home run against Miami the other day to put Duke into the semifinals today. And here's my little short clip of talking to him. Miami in consecutive days.
Yeah, I mean, definitely something we're all really proud of. in my 4 years here, we haven't been to the semifinals of the ACC tournament yet. And, to make that jump was big for us, solidifying our spot in a regional was also really important. These last 2 days have been awesome. We have more momentum than anyone in the country, and just hoping to keep doing the same Saturday.
And then follow up real quick on now you got to wait till Saturday. What are you guys are on an 11-game winning streak. What has been the difference in this winning streak? I know you guys are basically playing for your playoff lives.
Yeah, I mean, like I said last night, I wish we could have done it a little earlier, but to win 10 in a row like we've done, and just really just skyrocket our way into a regional has been the most fun 10-game stretch I've ever been a part of, and to do it in style like we did there was really special, and can't wait to see what we do in the future.
Congratulations. See you Saturday.
Thank you.
Michael, I know the first half of the season was, probably not what any of you guys.
All right. We thank you for him to join us. So we're waiting for Dave Ryan to give us log in here. I guess he's up at Hartford, Connecticut. Getting ready for he did today's 2 broadcasts on with 1. So we're waiting for him to log in. Let's just take a look at some of the stuff today. Let's do a little maintenance here on Wednesday morning. This coming Wednesday morning, hit the alarm clock, because we have former major leaguer Coco Chris will be joining us live on the program at 10 a.m. He is now the Scrappers manager in this new MLB draft league. So he'll talk to us from out there in Ohio. So hopefully make it part of your Wednesday morning. We're on from 10 a.m. to 11:30 on this coming Wednesday, June 2nd. If you want to go to our website, our Twitter handle, you can tweet us, or you can answer our polling question. I was putting up the polling question for you folks. First polling question is, who will win Monday's men's lacrosse championship? Vote now as we speak. UVA or Maryland. And on the women's side, if you want to vote right now, Boston College is in the lead by 1-0 over Syracuse. So if you want to vote who will win the women's lacrosse championship tomorrow, go ahead and vote today on the website. Speaking of playoff stuff, we're going into the bottom of the 5th. Covering softball, bottom of the 5th in Missouri. We had a Missouri coach on this past week. Let's see, let's bring it up here. Missouri right now in the bottom of the 5th is beating JMU by a score of 7-0. That's a 3-run home run in the second inning to push Missouri up. A big lead. They were up 6-0 after 2. So anyway, that's a big game there on ESPN. So speaking of ESPN, this gentleman worked a lot on ESPN. Our good friend Dave Ryan, who has had a long day of doing lacrosse.
Oh man, sorry I'm late. Prepping here.
It's okay.
Can you see all the prep we got? We're going for Division 3 right now. RIT.
Jeez.
Getting ready for RIT right now.
Okay.
Lost the boys.
You're also doing you're doing Solitary tomorrow too, right?
Yeah, doing D2, D3 tomorrow on NCAA.com with Mark Dixon. So it's one of the busiest weekends of the year for prep, and it's just you got to get it done, man. You got to power through and get it all in.
Well, thank you for taking some time. I know you're a busy guy, and you love coming on this program here. We're doing a special Saturday night stuff. Let's talk about today's men's game. Sure. The first game, it was between another ACC, Virginia taking on North Carolina. I talked to Jacob Kelly, who is from Maryland, who plays for North Carolina. He was not even in the game. He only had a couple shots on goal, and that's it.
Yeah. It wasn't a big game for him. Yeah, it wasn't a big game for any of the Tar Heels, really. And they made it interesting. Yeah, I thought Virginia played a really good, complete game, Chris. That was what made the difference today. They had all 3 facets going, and in the end, just a few too many face-off wins. Although I tell you, at the end of that game, it looked like each team was trying to give it away to the other. It was one of the most awkward closeouts of a game I think I've ever seen. But in the end, they survived. UNC had several chances really to tie and take the lead. It was a very exciting finish, but I thought Virginia's last defensive stand was their best of the game when they needed it most, and they got through. That's the most important thing. It's a win and survive mentality. You play 2 games in 3 days. It's just an incredible grind in these guys, and it's going to be a great game Monday. I will say this: Maryland looked almost untouchable today. I thought in that second game. I think Mark and I were expecting a very competitive game, and that was anything but. Maryland was dominant. Jared Bernhardt is extraordinary. I haven't seen him play in person for a couple of years, and he's as advertised. What a star! What a stud! John Danowski told us on the air today that he had absolutely no answer for him at halftime, and it got worse in the second half. He seems to just score at will. So I think UVA is going to have its hands full. I think Maryland will be a big favorite Monday.
I think it's great for Maryland and Virginia playing each other because, I'm here in the state of Maryland, and it's pretty cool that you have 2 schools, one from the Commonwealth, Virginia, and the other one, here in Maryland. And they're basically, if you look at the distance, they're only like 3 hours, 4 hours away from each other because that's how far, if you look at the map of Maryland to, Charlottesville, because that's where my parents have a house in that area.
Mm-hmm.
It's still all these kids from Virginia and Maryland come play each other, and I think it's great for the sport.
Yeah, Connor Schellenberger is the best player. Maybe, well, I mean, Bernhardt's the best player in the game for sure. I think he's got the torch on for the MVP of college lacrosse sewn up. But Connor Schellenberger, who is a great player for UVA, their best offensive player, who was awesome today, is from Charlottesville. So he went to school a few miles from campus, and it was a big recruiting war that UVA eventually won with Lars Tiffany. I say this, I think, Chris, that if UVA is going to win this game, they can't make the mistakes they did today, especially on defense. And they've got to be great in the face-off dot, and they've got to just be tremendous. I think offensively they can't have a lot of empty possessions. If that happens, we saw Maryland what did today, and I thought Duke was a great team, and they just made them really, really look bad today.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be more competitive because Duke, to me, when they beat Loyola in overtime, I'm like, okay, they snuck by, but it's still – I thought Maryland Duke always brings out the best in them because you saw it in basketball. They used to hate each other no matter what.
Yeah, well, no question. And there was so much interest about Maryland this year playing only Big Ten until the NCAA tournament. And they played Vermont, and it's an only undefeated team in the NCAA tournament field. Still with a 3 seed, had to go to Notre Dame and win a great game on the road in overtime to get to the national semifinal. But I thought today was as solid an A to Z effort of any team I've seen in the championship weekend. I've covered this event since 2004. So it was dominant today. That was surprising to me. Now, can you repeat that feat 2 times in 3 days is the question. Probably not. It's hard to be that good over such a short span with almost no recovery tomorrow. And the teams have some media obligations. So they've got to go to the stadium and practice and do some media for ESPN and for Westwood One and some other appearances. So it's not just sitting in the hotel room waiting. It's always a battle of attrition on that. The Memorial Day is always the hardest game, I think, for these guys because they have so little time to prepare.
And it's also for you, too. It's hard for the broadcasters, too. You only got like 24 hours.
A lot of tea to try to get the voice back for tomorrow. But it's great. It's the weekend I look forward to, maybe the most of anything I do over the year in terms of the volume of games. And they're all championship level games. And of course, you get to call D2, D3, D1. It's pretty unique that anyone gets to do all 3. So I did it 2019. Of course, it didn't happen last year because of COVID. So this is my second time doing all 3 levels. And I mean, the preparation is honestly, it starts Saturday once you get semifinalists set and then just continues with Zoom calls with all these coaches, and it rolls on and on and on until it's over on Monday.
Jeez. And then Dave Ryan goes on vacation.
Some bowling for Fox after that in May.
Yeah, I know.
I'm looking forward to some time off after this for sure. But right now it's go time, and you just got to jam and really do a lot of homework and get ready.
Yeah, what is it like? What do you think about? Let's talk bowling real quick. What do you think about the 31st perfect game against Kyle Troop a couple weeks ago? I had Kyle on. He was like, that's awesome. Amazing.
It's awesome. Those games are so cool to call. I've done several 300 games, and there's nothing quite like that moment when 12 up 12 up and 12 down. It's pretty cool. It's like a perfect game in baseball. It's so rare and so awesome to be a part of bowling history like that. But give credit to Kyle. He probably sewed up Player of the Year with that win, because with the playoffs and his Players Championship, I think that's probably enough. Two major type wins, although the playoffs is not officially a major. It'd be hard in the vote not to have him number 1 or number 2 right now with Tom Doherty. So I think he's the man. Gosh, what a colorful, awesome character, and just a great person. Fun to spend time with. Of course, Guppy was there to watch him time with the 8th title, so that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, I had him on the program right after he won it, and the week before I had him on, he was driving his car. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm driving." I was like,
"He's a young guy. He's multitasking. He can."
I was like, "Please do not get in a car accident." And secondly, if you get a ticket, I can't pay for it. That's the problem. Okay.
If you can do what he does with a bowling ball, you can probably drive and do it. At the same time. He's pretty awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, looking forward to some cool specialty events in Maine in June, and we have the PBA Tour Finals on CBS Sportsnet in Detroit. So June is for bowling. I can't wait to get after it and call those shows. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it too, because I love watching bowling. And if you want to bring this up, if you go on TV, I was doing research a couple of weeks ago about the 300 games. When I was a kid watching bowling, there was just 5 on TV in 1988. Since then,
hard to believe. I mean, it's hard to believe we're up to it's 31 now, right after Sam Christ. So that's a lot. That is a lot. But I will say this: I've done dozens, if not more, of shows where the old pattern is so challenging. There's no chance for 300. So anytime someone gets on TV, I'm so impressed, regardless of the pattern, because of the pressure and the difficulty, how hard it is to perform under the TV lights and win a match is hard. To try to get 300 is pretty remarkable.
Exactly. Well, I'll let you go. I know you want to save your voice, but real quick, Salisbury is a very good lacrosse team down here in Salisbury, Maryland, because I saw them 2 years ago. They played Lynchburg. My parents went to Lynchburg, and they literally played really well. So they might have a good team. You may want to keep an eye out for them tomorrow.
Yeah, they're good. RIT's never won a title. They actually did play together head-to-head in 2017, I think it was, or 2013. Yeah, 2017 and lost to Salisbury. So they have played head-to-head in the title game before. I talked to all the coaches for D2, D3, and RIT's loaded. They've got a lot of guys from Six Nations and the Iroquois Confederacy up in upstate New York and Canada. So I think it'll be, in my opinion anyway, a very high-scoring game. Salisbury's got an awesome tradition with all their titles with Jim Berkman. He seemed very relaxed and confident based on the matchup when I spoke to him the other day when his team was stuck on the GWB on the way up to Connecticut, up in New York. They were stuck for hours in their bus, so we had some time to chat. I think he likes the matchup, and anytime Jim Berkman likes the matchup, that usually is pretty good news for the Seagulls.
Yeah. Traffic report. My dad told me to try to get there early with the GW Bridge, because if you get stuck there, you're not going anywhere.
It's like $20 to cross it or something. It's on the Easy Pass now. You don't actually pay cash, but
right.
It's just unbelievable. $20 to wait for hours. I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me. But in New York, you should never drive a car or a bus, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, go rest, relax, get something to eat, and we'll see you on Monday.
You got it. Sounds great. Thanks for the time.
All right. Thanks so much.
Bye, Chris.
See you. What a good man. I love Dave Ryan. Taking his time out of his busy schedule to come on our program here on a Saturday night. Appreciate it to the man there. It is 8:48. We were going to talk some Canadian football, just to throw it in here, but we're waiting for somebody to log in here. But we'll continue our coverage of West. First of all, let's play our interviews that we did today. First of all, let's bring up Virginia, because we talked to Virginia before Maryland. So here's Virginia.
FM Sports.
Hey, this question is for Alex. Alex, how cool is it tomorrow if you get a chance to, or Monday, to play against the State School of Maryland? Because I know you're from Timonium. How cool that would be?
That'd be a really awesome opportunity. I grew up a Maryland fan my whole life, and I'm originally from Timonium, Maryland. But either team we play, them or Duke, it'd be cool to play Duke in the ACC. So either team would be a great opportunity for our team.
University of Virginia, because you want to play in big-time moments like this. You want that pressure. You want that crowd. And thanks to our lacrosse fans and Hartford for creating that energy despite the conditions.
Okay, we'll take 2 more questions. Christopher Heidel, Herb FM.
Hey, Coach. Just talk about playing tomorrow. You might, or Monday, you might play Duke or Maryland. I know you didn't play Maryland this year because of COVID, but you played them over the years. What do they look similar getting ready for on Monday?
Yeah, big, strong, and athletic, both teams. Elite attackmen. Probably our Heisman Trophy, the Tewaaraton Award. You're probably looking at the top two guys there between Jared Bernhardt and Michael Sowers, surrounded by a ton of talent. One team's undefeated. So it's, I'm happy that we get to sit way up high in the top tier for the next 2 hours and watch this game, because that means we won. But I know I'm going to be watching and scratching my head on how to defend these guys. And so two very well coached, talented teams. And
it's going to be a very interesting battle for Virginia playing against Maryland. And speaking of Maryland, let's bring them back on here. We talked to the players after the game and also Coach Tillman.
Okay, we are joined by Maryland student athletes Jared Bernhardt and Nick Grill. We will take questions for the student athletes, and we'll start with Christopher Heidel of Herb FM Sports.
Hey, this question for both of you guys. We'll first start with Jared. Just talk about making it to the Final Four and also playing against, in the championship game against Virginia.
I think we were just focused on Duke. Collective win all across the board, but we'll get to that and hopefully tonight and then carry on tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we haven't really thought about Virginia yet. We have Duke today. That's a pretty big mountain to climb, big challenge that we needed to take care of, and we'll start figuring out Virginia tonight.
And if I could follow up real quick, just talk about this whole COVID-19. You guys 15-0, playing the Big Ten schedule, and do you think you guys would have been here, be at this point if situations like COVID never, it was a little bit different?
Obviously COVID was tough and stuff, but I think even without it, I think we would have, been here. We have a really good group, good senior leadership, and then, a lot of young guys, looking to get better each day. But COVID's obviously been tough, but definitely would have been here without it too.
Yeah, I think COVID just gave us an extra year to really work on the things that we were struggling with last year. So, who knows what it would have been like without COVID, but I'm just happy that we're here now.
Hey, Coach John, congratulations on making it to the championship game on Monday. What does this mean for for lacrosse in Maryland and Virginia, having both two schools playing each other, on Monday?
Yeah, I certainly speaking for our state where lacrosse is so important, and then our school where lacrosse is obviously a premier sport and has just a great tradition of great players and great teams. We are really prideful to make sure that each year, we live up to the standard of the program and add another chapter to it of the book of Maryland lacrosse, not only on the field, but off the field. And I had an alum text me yesterday with a little snapshot from the 1978 handbook from Bud Beardmore that talked about be the best. And again, a lot of what was in that handbook talked about being the best version of yourself on and off the field, academically, being great members of our community. So again, trying to live up to that standard and make sure that, a lot of guys created this tradition. We got to make sure we do our part. Lars is a guy I respect a ton. That program, obviously, they're reigning national champions. They're a who's who in terms of recruits, and they're very talented and always have been. So I think you look at, how far away from each other we are. It's not too far. So I think there's a lot of natural interest in that mid-Atlantic just because of the history and then so many kids playing.
Okay, final question for Coach from Kyle.
Yep, that's Maryland cross. So it's going to be Maryland versus Maryland versus UVA Monday. I think it's like 2:30 Monday afternoon. I think it's 2:30. Let me check. think it's 2:30, folks. Let's see here. Tell us. I'll tell you. Yeah, it'll be Monday afternoon. I think it's 2:30 on ESPN. Yeah, I think that's what it is. All right, folks. Well, 8:55. Let's recap what's going on here. It's a short little program we're doing tonight. Top of the sixth, Missouri has a 7-0 lead on JMU. That's a little highlight from earlier, thanks to the Twitter page from Mizzou softball to bring that up. So that's JMU is right now leading the series 1 game to none, but this game looks like it's going to be Missouri's win, and Missouri will be the best of 3 tomorrow. Winner goes to Oklahoma. So it's going to be a very interesting day tomorrow for the folks in Harrisonburg, Virginia. So that's what's going on. Also, if you want to vote right now on our Twitter page, who will win the men's or women's lacrosse championship, you can vote for either one. You go to our Twitter page at HerbFM. And also, please join us this coming Wednesday morning, June 2nd, for former Major Leaguer Coco Chris will be joining us. Yeah, he will be joining us on the program. He's the head coach at the Strappers out there in Ohio. So if you want to tune in to listen to him, he's part of that new Major League Baseball Draft League as well. So that will be we'll be live. Yeah, June 2nd, 5 a.m. Uski and Herbie show. So that's what's going on. So if you want to tune in, it's June 2nd live at 10 a.m. with this gentleman right here, Coco Chris. So folks, thanks for joining us this evening. It's 8:57. I'm going to go get something to eat. And I guess the our person who was coming on to talk CFL didn't join us. John Hodges will join. We'll try to grab him later down the road. So thanks for joining us. Don't forget, June 2nd live at 10 a.m. Former Major Leaguer will be live on the program. So hopefully you'll join us and join us on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Let me fix that. There you go. Join us. Former player Coco Chris will be joining us live on the program on Wednesday. So now until then, I'm Chris Heidel. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy the lacrosse championships tomorrow for women's and men's on Monday. And we'll see you Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. But now until then, I'm Chris Heidel. Adieu.